just made the greatest decision of your life. You decided you want to start reading comic books and join the greatest community on the planet, the comic book community. Welcome back, my fellow comic book friends, and possibly my new comic book friend, to Comic Casper. And you're probably wondering, where do I start with comic books? Don't worry, I've got you covered. In this video, I'm going to cover the different types of comic book formats that you can experience and what they all mean. I will talk about the different publishers and what kind of comic books you can expect from them. I will talk about where you can buy your comic books, what is the price schedule of all the different comic book formats in the year 2023 and 2024 and hopefully beyond, and perhaps I'll hit you up with some reading recommendation as well. So let's kick it. So beginning with the comic book formats, also known as reading options, and their release schedules. Brand new comic books generally release in a single issue format. These single issues can vary in page count anywhere from 20-ish pages all the way up to 100 pages if the comic series is celebrating some sort of a milestone such as issue 100 or even 1000, but the average page count is usually around 30 pages for a modern comic book. The release schedules can also vary from weekly to monthly or sometimes a little longer, but on average you can expect new comics to release on a monthly schedule. Single issues can be a part of a series consisting of consecutively numbered single issues under the same title, such as these Batman comics, Doctor Strange, Daredevil, or even our Star-Spangled Avenger Captain America. At times, we will have comics referred to as one-shots. These are single-issue comics that are not part of a series, such as this Sins of Sinister comic, but it can form a part of a larger narrative. We also have annuals. These are longer single issues that are published on a once-a-year basis. They usually tie into an existing series and can be referred to by number or by year of publication. Regularly, you will see a comic series resetting back to an issue 1. Marvel Comics frequents this practice as this marks the beginning of a new volume. There are multiple reasons why a comic may do this. Sometimes it's because a writing team has concluded their narrative. Sometimes it's because a comic book is not selling well and the publisher may look at revamping the series with a fresh new creative team in hopes of reigniting interest once again. In the modern world of comic collecting, you also have the option of variants. These comics are released with a different cover than the main official cover for the books. This is usually done to lure in a wider audience, but also a sneaky tactic for publishers to get collectors to buy more comics for their covers alone. I'll tell you what, I'm definitely a sucker sometimes when it comes to variant covers. You know, I love picking them up if they look amazing, just like this Daredevil foil variant. It's dope. Now, the following formats are usually referred to as collected editions because they collect an assortment of comic book issues bundled into one package. The first one is trade paperbacks. These offer the same sized pages you would expect in a single issue comic, but can vary in terms of how many issues are within them. For example, this Justice League No Justice from DC Comics contains 4 issues. The Variants from Marvel Comics has 5 issues. Nightclub from Image Comics has 6 issues, and Do a Powerbomb has 7 issues. These are just examples, but you can expect these trade paperbacks to get even larger, such as House of X, Powers of X, which includes 12 issues, or the Colossal X of Swords trade paperback, which has 23 issues inside it and a whopping 720 pages. Please note, DC Comics also offers hardcover versions of trade paperbacks. The only difference is really the build. The contents is all the same. Now, this format is usually referred to as the oversized hardcover, also known as an OHC. I'm personally a big fan of these because they include slightly larger pages as opposed to single issues and trade paperbacks. And if you're anything like me, you will enjoy marveling at the expanded artwork within these. On top of this, they come in a hardcover format. I guess that's pretty obvious, and it gives them a wonderful sturdy feel and allows you to place these books on your bookshelf. As far as comics go, they tend to be more durable too. Sometimes these oversized hardcovers are referred to as deluxe editions. This may be due to the additional content present in these formats, usually included at the back, such as sketches, comic book covers, scripts, or some other additional art. But apparently, Marvel Comics is looking at discontinuing their oversized hardcovers, aka deluxe editions, and will instead focus their efforts on the omnibus format. Speaking of which, let's move on to that now. Now, this is an omnibus, and it gets a little murky here because you might wonder, what is the difference between an oversized hardcover and an omnibus? And I'm sorry to say, but I don't have the answer. I personally think that an omnibus would generally have more comic issues than an OHC, but the rule may not always be true. An omnibus can be extremely large, such as this Green Lantern by Jeff Johns Omnibus Volume 1, which consists of 45 issues and has a total of 1,232 pages. Or this Deadpool and Cable Omnibus, which consists of 52 issues and has 1,272 pages. Trust me when I say they get a lot larger than that. Such as the Avengers vs. X-Men Omnibus, which is a beast, which clocks in at a whopping 1,680 pages. That would keep you busy for days. Although an omnibus can also be on the smaller side too, such as this Planet Hulk coming in at 656 pages, including 25 issues. Now, if you want to go even bigger, you can try what's called the Library Edition by Dark Horse Comics or Image Comics, and the Absolute Edition equivalent as referred to by DC Comics. These are much larger formats if you simply can't get enough of that artwork. DC Comics likes to accompany these large formats with a slipcase, which gives it that premium treatment. Now, if you are wondering about the release schedule of collected editions, trade paperbacks usually release a few months after a story arc has been completed in the single issues, and a story arc is usually between 4 and 6 issues long. As for OHCs, that may take a little longer, anywhere from a few months up to a year after the first dozen or so issues have released. But be mindful, as I said before, these are being discontinued. Omnibuses can vary and will release once a creator's run has been completed. This could take years. This will also apply to Absolute, library editions, and various other complete collections. It is also important to note that reprints will also take place of previously printed collected editions. This is a great opportunity for people that have missed out in the past, and this mostly occurs for omnibuses, deluxe editions, library editions, and absolutes from various publishers, but not necessarily the oversized hardcovers from Marvel, and sometimes even the trade paperbacks don't get reprints. There's also the case of a publisher losing rights to a character, which can complicate reprints even more so. Reprint schedules are difficult to gauge, but please be sure to check out the other YouTube channels such as Near Mint Condition that is always keeping us comic book readers in the loop in regards to reprints and new printings. For those that just love our planet so much and wish to preserve our beautiful trees, you can always try reading comics digitally from your home desktop PC, laptop, phone, tablet, your Kindle, and even your television. You can purchase subscription options for reading through the Marvel website via the Marvel Unlimited services or the DC website and subscribing to the DC Universe Infinite subscription. You can also achieve this through other publishers you might like, or even Amazon, and choosing the Kindle purchase option. In essence, we are simply spoiled for options. Now let's talk about the different types of publishers. There's a good chance you will be quite familiar with the two titans of the industry, that being Marvel and DC. You can expect some excellent series which can often surpass the quality you are used to seeing on the big screen, from comics starting the likes of Batman, Superman, Wolverine, Deadpool, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and the list goes on, and also their respective teams such as the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Justice League. There is a hero there for just about everyone. Now, there is a third titan of the industry as well, which maybe doesn't get as much spotlight as the first two, and that is Image Comics. You may be familiar with their work, such as the excellent animated series Invincible, or the chilling apocalyptic TV show The Walking Dead. And then there's the live-action films such as The Old Guard, Kick-Ass, Wanted, and the classic Spawn movie, which will hopefully finally get a remake that is a million times better than the original. All of the aforementioned were originally comic books published by Image Comics, which is the third largest direct market comic book and graphic novel publisher in the industry by market share. It was founded in 1992, and if you are interested in taking a rest from superhero comics, then look no further. You will be blown away by the assortment of unique stories. Some stories which come to mind are a saga, combining elements of virtually every genre in a way that doesn't weigh down the story. Because of this, the stakes feel higher in saga and also help it appeal to a much wider audience. Though certain aspects of the series are very weird, Saga is actually a great, epic story that follows a family caught in a war between science fiction and fantasy, with classic elements such as forbidden love, built on a modern epic adventure. Saga is one series that is an absolute must-read from the publisher. While most comics have taken a weirder turn here and there, Chu is definitely one of the weirdest, and that's saying something. Tony Chu is a detective in a world where the sale and consumption of poultry is illegal due to a mutated strand of the bird flu. However, Tony is also a psychopath, meaning that he can see the memories of all the food he eats. Due to the unique nature of his abilities, Tony is constantly eating some very weird and very gross things. However, though the series has a great layer of comedy throughout, it is also a great detective story, with great lovable characters and a sci-fi element as well. Chu is a surprisingly fantastic series that almost anyone with a strong stomach can enjoy. Rick Remender's Deadly Class was actually so popular that it got adapted into a TV series along with others on this list. Though the show was unfortunately cancelled, it received praise for its adaptation of the source material. In regards to the comic, Deadly Class follows a group of students who are studying to become some of the world's best assassins, each with their own motivations. Deadly Class excellently captures a youthful voice while exploring some, sometimes humorous, antics that the kids find themselves in. For a grittier story with a great art to complement it, Deadly Class is not one to be missed. Jeff Lemire's Descender series was so popular that Sony actually bought the film rights before it even released. The story is a fantastic sci-fi tale of friendship and loyalty as a robot potentially holds the key to saving mankind. Not only is the story great, but Dustin Nguyen's watercolor artwork is absolutely incredible. The whole series has this beautiful aesthetic to it that is incredibly difficult to find in another book, and in fact, I'm actually reading it right now. I could spend all day talking to you about the vast amount of unique stories spinning out of Image Comics, but I also want to give some love to the smaller publishers such as Dark Horse Comics, well known for the Hellboy comics, stories from the dystopian future of Cyberpunk 2077, even tales from our favorite Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, and let's not forget the Umbrella Academy. There's also Boom Studios that published a comic series titled Berserker, spelled BRZRKR, co-written by Keanu Reeves, the legend himself, and Matt Kindt, about a man that is half mortal and half god, cursed and compelled to violence, telling the tale of his endless blood-soaked existence. There's IDW Publishing, well known for bringing us the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then there's Archie Comics, bringing us, well, Archie. You can dive deeper into the rabbit hole that is indie publishers with Scout Comics to experience a large selection of the weird and wonderful. Now, where could you start if you are interested in purchasing comics? For those choosing the physical format, you can Google your nearest comic book shop, head down and meet some wonderful people that would be happy to help you get started. If you have a busy schedule in life, you can use some great online shops such as In-Stock Trades, Organic Priced Books, My Comic Shop, and you can even check out Amazon, but I'm not the biggest fan because sometimes the comic books get damaged upon delivery. As for pricing, and keep in mind, I will be using US dollars as the currency. In the year 2023 and 2024, you can expect normal-sized single issues to cost between $3.99 and $4.99 on average, with $4.99 turning into the new norm. unfortunately. Whilst trade paperbacks and hardcovers will normally set you back anywhere from $50.99 to $59.99, depending on the size. Oversized hardcovers can range from $39.99 to $75. Dark Horse Library editions, probably within the $49.99 range. An omnibus will cost you between $75 and $150, with a new entry price starting to creep up more towards $100. Whilst the absolute editions from DC will normally cost you between $100 and $150. Please note you can get some discounted prices at the retailers I mentioned previously, as much as 50% off in fact, so keep a close eye for special offers, whether it is online or at your local comic book store. Now, I do think it is also important to note that back issue comics can really vary in price, astronomically in fact, because ultra rare and popular comics can be extremely expensive. We are talking in the thousands through to the millions of dollars. But that's a video for another time. But what about those looking to read comics digitally? Well, the Marvel Unlimited subscription service costs $9.99 per month with access to over 30,000 comics. You can try the service 7 days for free. Hooray! The DC Universe Infinite Ultra membership will set you back $7.99 per month, also offering a 7-day free trial. Also hooray! As for Image Comics, you can buy individual issues via Amazon Kindle, Google Play, Apple iBooks. You can also buy a large assortment of other comics on Amazon for your Kindle. Now, how about some recommendations to get you started? From the mainstream comics, such as Marvel and DC, you can start with some of these hits, which you will see frequently mentioned by others as well. By Alan Moore, there is Watchmen, Batman the Killing Joke, and V for Vendetta. By Frank Miller, there is Batman Year One and Dark Knight Returns. From Grant Morrison, there is All-Star Superman and Doom Patrol. From Neil Gaiman, there is The Sandman. From Michael J. Straczynski, there is The Amazing Spider-Man. Ed Brubaker's Captain America, Frank Miller's Daredevil, Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, Jason Aaron's Thor, Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, Garth Ennis's Punisher, Brian Michael Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man. Now, from Image Comics, I would recommend Brian K. Vaughan's Saga, Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead and Invincible, Jonathan Hickman's East of West, Rick Remender's Deadly Class, Black Science, Fear Agent, and really honestly anything else that he writes, Ed Brubaker's Criminal, Joshua Williamson's Nailbiter, and John Layman's Chew. From Dark Horse Comics, I would recommend checking out Mike Mignola's Hellboy and Jeff Lemire's Black Hammer. I'll be completely honest with you, I haven't read all of those recommendations that I've just noted, but I do trust the comic book community and I see them talking about this series over and over again. You can definitely trust them. They have fantastic taste. And I know there are a lot of other recommendations which I haven't mentioned in this video, so my apologies, but I'm sure those will get you started. Now, if you're still with me, I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hit it with a like if you did enjoy it and a dislike if you absolutely hated it, and I will catch you soon.